everyone, welcome to this week's Karma Cards. I missed you last week. So today I wanted to share with you a couple of things that are happening that you'll want to know about. Number one is that today Uranus has now moved into retrograde. So we're in a Uranus retrograde, and that means we have, I think now 6 planets, if not 7, at least 6 planets in retrograde right now. It's a common corridor we hit generally around this time of year, that we will have these like several planets retrograding all at the same time, and they're generally in this zone until about October. So most planets start to go direct in October. I think this one starts going direct in December. But when we've got a Uranus retrograde, so Uranus is considered like an awakener planet. It brings awakening, it brings to the surface things that need to change. And sometimes it does it through surprise, and sometimes it does it through upset. But it's something you won't expect. That's how Uranus works. And that's when it's going direct, that's how it's working. It's usually something outside of you that's surprising or unexpected. With it retrograding, it's internalizing that energy. And so what's going to start happening is people at this time are going to start really thinking about the direction that their life is going. And you might be in a place where you feel like shit's got to change, right? Like something in your, and this could be a great thing. So this is why I want to bring it to your attention, because you can ride this wave with intention, or you can let the wave wash over you. It's your choice. To ride it with intention means that you're aware that change needs to happen, or that you desire a change in your life. One of my favorite changes to make is when you recognize a thought pattern you've been holding that's holding you back. And what I love about using this energy is the change you need to make there is just to simply decide, enough of this. I'm done with this thought. This thought is not helpful. It's not helped me at all ever since I've thought it, and I'm ready to be done with it. This is a great opportunity to use this natural impulse that's coming in through the cosmic energy and just say, you know what? This is the thought I'm ready to let go. These are the beliefs that are holding me back. Because our beliefs are what create for us. So if you believe that, like, for example, if you believe that you're incapable of creating change, let's say that's a belief you were holding, this is the perfect opportunity to drop that and be like, change is an inevitable reality. You know, that's the one constant in our life, is change. So I'm ready to allow myself to shift with this energy, and I'm ready to see things differently. And that's a great way to use this energy. When we're not conscious of this energy, and there's some people who feel like, you know, looking at the cosmos is a kind of a scapegoat. Like, oh, I'm just going to blame Mercury for my problems, or, oh, you know, the moon acting this way is just an excuse to behave a certain way. I really don't see it like that. I see it as rings of energy, and it's sort of an umbrella energy working over us. So yes, for some people it's a stronger influence and some not so much. But I feel like when we look at what is the cosmos doing, we're being given hints by the universe about where energy is going. And I personally like to flow with the energetic rather than try to work against it. So when we're unconscious of this need for change that's going to occur, then we can fall into the trap of self-sabotage, because some part of us, a very unconscious part of us, will be aware that something's got to change, something's got to shift, and it might create a pattern of disruption in your life by creating some kind of sabotage. So it's just something to pay attention to and be aware of. So the other thing that's happening this week, on Saturday, we have a new moon in Virgo, and the sun's energy has recently moved into Virgo. I think it was at the beginning of this week. So now we've got a new moon coming on Saturday in Virgo, and this again is a sign that actually works well with this idea of change. Virgo is very meticulous. It can be very analytical, and it can be very thorough in its investigation. And it's a great energy to use to figure out what's got to shift. So Virgo's energy is all about, what's best for our community, our family. It's actually one of the signs as we're moving out of, so the zodiac wheel, when we're looking at it, we're starting with Aries, and that represents the self. And as we go further and further into the wheel, it shifts from our focus being really internalized and about ourselves to how I interact and affect others, till it becomes, this sort of mass consciousness point. And Virgo really is the first sign of awareness that there's more than just you. So its focus tends to be very, it has like a domestic vibe to it, and it's like the vibe of family life, domestic life, and taking care of others is a part of that energy. So as the sun moves into the sign, our way of expressing can start to move more towards, how does this work, not just for me, but how is it going to work for others? Like, what do I need to do here so that it's a win for everybody? It's really the first time in the zodiac wheel, when we get to Virgo, that we start thinking that way, and then it just keeps progressing. So another area that's really powerful to look at is the ways that you're of service and the ways you are in terms of family or community, like how you're relating to them, how you're of service to them. And when you're working with a new moon in Virgo and you focus your manifesting energy around how can I be of service, it is a very powerful alignment, and the universe loves that. It loves it when multiple beings are served at once, and those are the manifestations that tend to get a lot of energy behind them. So it's a great time to think about, not only, and remember, service to others includes you. So it's not about excluding yourself and saying, I just want things for other people, not for myself. It's, I want things for myself and other people. I want it to benefit me and my family. I want it to benefit me and my community. And when we're creating our manifestations from that point, during this time, it's a very potent way to manifest. And if you would like the opportunity to work with me with the Virgo new moon, the Spirit Circle is coming up on Saturday, August 27th, 6 p.m. Pacific time, where you can join us for this very specific manifestation process where you're working with that Virgo new moon energy. And we also do psychic Q&A at the end, and it's a great time. I love Spirit Circles, and I love hanging out with you. So if that sounds interesting to you, click this link. It's in the description below, and I look forward to seeing you there. Now, let's do karma cards for the week. If you're new to karma cards, let me quickly show you how these work. I have 3 cards here: the planets, the signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team, what is the message you have for us this week? And I've got 2 sets of answers, one in red, which are action related, and a set in blue, which are outcome related. And the way that you play is you tune in with your beautiful intuition and feel, what do you need for this week? Are you looking for action related answers or outcome related answers? And if you feel called, you can always choose both. And while you're choosing, let me tell you the timing for this reading. This reading is for August 24th through the 31st. And let's do the flavor of this reading, okay? So we've got Saturn, not my favorite planet to get, but we're going to find out what it's got to say. It might be good. So we've got Saturn, planet of restriction and structure and learning and karma, in the sign of Taurus, which is interesting because that's where Uranus is retrograding, in the sign of Taurus. So Taurus is about beliefs, what you value, what has worth to you. In the 11th house is the house of friendships, wishes, and dreams. It is ruled by Aquarius, which is very appropriate for this age. But as you can see, now Aquarius takes the theme that Virgo works with, which is like what's good for those around me, and it extends it out to like as far as you can go. It's considered the humanitarian. So this is sort of a humanitarian house right here. For those who are choosing action, your spiritual action at this time is be realistic about your beliefs for humanity's sake. I think this one is really good because it lines up really well with what I was talking about with the Uranus retrograde. Be realistic about your beliefs for humanity's sake. And this isn't to say, hey, tone it down, don't believe in such big, grand things, don't believe in what you can't see. That's not what I'm getting from this. What I'm getting from this is the beliefs that we need to shift, like I was talking about. We have beliefs that we hold that literally hold ourselves back. And when we're holding ourselves back, we're not in full service, right? If you dim your light, you're not really shining it for others. It's this same idea here. So it's like, it's time to take a look at what you're believing. You know, are you believing more in your ability or your limits? Are you believing more in being supported or unsupported? Are you believing things are heading in a good direction or a bad direction? I mean, really check it out and dig in there and look at your beliefs and realize your beliefs are having an impact on others, whether you think they are or not. They really do. Because we behave and we take action from where we believe. So it does have a ripple effect on other people, and we're being asked to take a good cold look at it right now. Mental action at this time. Be concerned about the costs of your hopes and wishes. And again, this is it's along that same lines where I'm not getting from this reading that they're saying, hey, don't go too, like if you go too big, that's going to cost you. What I get is like, if you don't go in, it will cost you. So what is the cost of not following through? What is the cost of not being in alignment with your values, which are part of your hopes and wishes, right? Be concerned about the consequences of not just the actions you take, but the actions you don't take. It's time to really consider, like again, with Saturn here, it kind of weighs it down, makes it feel heavier, but we're being asked to really sit with it and consider, just like, it's really interesting because today in the Fear Workshop, we sort of talked about that. But there is a cost to avoiding the things that you need to do to make life happen. We all know that, but we still tend to choose avoidance behavior because whatever it is we're avoiding feels really hard. And not to be a bummer, but it can be hard either way. It can be hard to step into the courage to take the action you need to take, but it's also hard to avoid it and let it compound on you. So again, we're being asked to consider the cost of your hopes and wishes. What do you have to do to make that happen? You're going to have to exert effort. You're going to have to take brave action in some cases. And if you avoid it, there's also costs in that direction as well. Physical action. You must wait before you can use the most direct way and do it for the future. So what they're letting us know right now is it's a contemplation period. It really is about digging in and looking at it more than it is about now take that action. If we had something like Mercury here or Mars here, we would be getting the butt kicked to do it right now. That's not what Saturn gives us. Saturn is more about reflection and consideration and slowing down and really contemplating what it is you're either doing or not doing. And it is the most direct way right now to affect your future. And this makes sense. Again, with this Uranus retrograde, this is all about making changes you need for your future. Uranus is a planet that's connected to the future, where you're going. It's the ruler of Aquarius, which represents the future. So it's connected to this 11th house card as well. We got to really slow down and pay attention and look at the cost of our behaviors, our beliefs, and the actions that we take or don't take because of those behaviors and beliefs. All right, so now let's look at outcomes for Saturn in Taurus in the 11th house of hopes, wishes in the future. The spiritual outcome at this time is the maturity that brings resources to maintain freedom. So, this is a great outcome to get. It means if you take the time to sit down and contemplate, really look at your beliefs that you're holding, the patterns of behavior, all of that, the actions you're taking or not taking, that's going to bring you right to this whole other level and allow you to know the changes you need to make in order to mature and receive these resources. And it's ultimately for your highest good. So the 11th house also represents this freedom that we're talking about. So it's an important time, and there's a big payoff in doing it. Mental outcome at this time: caution regarding the practicality of associations. Now, associations has two meanings here, right? So one meaning can mean who you associate with, but also it can mean what you associate with. So if you associate, what do you associate freedom with? What do you associate work with? What do you associate maturity with? As a few examples. It's another way of saying that we really need to pay attention to our beliefs and what we associate with. Like, for example, if I put myself out there, I'm going to fail. So we're associating putting ourselves out there with failure. We got to be careful of that. Obviously, if that's what you think, then you're not going to put yourself out there, especially if you don't want to fail. So we need to be mindful of how we put two and two together. And it's not always a positive association. People have fear of speaking in front of other people, for example, because they're afraid that if they do that, they'll get made fun of, right? So that's not a positive association, which is why they have the fear. So again, we're being asked to be more conscientious of how we put two and two together, what we think, what we perceive the outcome of a certain action to be, and get really clear about that. Is that helping me, or is that getting in my way? And I think that during this time period, we'll have a lot of clarity around the truth behind our associations as well. Physical outcome: limits imposed resulting from the productivity of your circle of friends. So the way I get this from my team is that this is the kind of work that you really have to do internally. You're not going to be able to get someone to do this work for you or look at someone else's answers. Like, they're showing me this image in my head of I don't know if you're familiar with Mr. Bean. Oh my God, Mr. Bean, he's been around forever. But if you're familiar with that show, there's this one episode where he's taking a test and he's like looking over at the other guy's answer at the table. None of that's going to help you right now, because what you associate, what you put together, is not how other people put it together. And so no matter how much your friends move through certain thoughts, beliefs, or behaviors, their work can't be your work, and they can't do that work for you. So no matter how productively they're doing it, it doesn't really give you any advantage. Which, it makes sense when you think about that. But I think sometimes we can hear the moral of the story or get the lesson from someone else. Like, I love to chat with my friends about, what they've, recently uncovered or gone through, or the epiphanies they've had and the ahas. And even though they're very illuminating and can be very helpful, this group of cards is saying that even if they were to give you the moral of the story, it wouldn't help you, because you have to do the work of breaking down the thoughts, beliefs, and patterns. And until you do that, there's no direct benefit to you. So their productivity won't be a payoff to you. And I don't know if that ever is the case. I would like to think it is. Wouldn't it be nice if we could get a shortcut? Get a shortcut somewhere? I don't know if it's ever the case, but it certainly isn't the case now. So with Saturn involved, Saturn kind of says, look, there's no getting out of the work. The work's got to be done. The beautiful thing is, I do think that this work is going to be easier because with this planetary influence of Uranus in retrograde, we're already going to kind of go there. We're going to feel inclined to go there. And this is just saying, hey, lean into that. Like, go, dig in, figure out what you're thinking, figure out if that even works for you anymore. So many times we let thoughts repeat, which without questioning it. And we've got to ask ourselves, hey, does that even work for me anymore? Like, I know I've held that thought for a long time, but does it work for me anymore? And why do I think I have to keep holding it? So the more that we do that kind of work, the more epiphanies we uncover, and you will get that productivity, and you will get your aha. And the aha will really come in the form of, this is how I'm going to change. It's not a bad deal. And it's actually, like I said, it's very internalized right now. So this is a great time for journaling. Especially, it's a great time for contemplation, meditation, any way that allows you to go in and listen, doing heart coherence work where you're just asking yourself questions that'll produce answers. All of this all of those are powerful tools for utilizing this energy. So I hope this week finds you in a beautiful space of awareness and the answers you need to create the changes you desire to see in your own life. And I really look forward to seeing you next week. And also, when I'm not here, there's also a good chance my podcast is doing something fun. And there is new podcast episodes. So if you haven't checked that out, it's called the Modern Mystic Soul Podcast. You can find it everywhere podcasts are. I will also put a link in the description below. And I'd love to check it out because I am supporting you over there too and talking about all sorts of fun topics. The last one was about the energetics of channeling, and it was so cool. So I hope you get a chance to check that out, and I will see you next week. Mwah. Thank you for watching. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell so that you know the next time I release a new video. Until then, stay magical. My name is Therese Tucker, and I want to welcome you to Mercury Pod Coaching. I created this group coaching program to help you move out of procrastination and into traction towards your big goals. I know how it feels to dream really big and then all of a sudden find yourself sitting there spinning in place, not getting anywhere closer to your goal. It can be really easy to get caught up in feeling flustered and confused and not know what action to take, and so you completely stop taking any action at all. If this sounds familiar to you, then there's a good chance that you've got some mindset blocks in the way that are preventing you from taking actions right now that can get you closer to your big dream and create real change in your life. Here's what you need. You need someone who can see those mindset blocks and help you get out of indecision, move into inspired action, and do it quickly. And that's where I come in. So what is the Mercury Coaching Pod? It is a 30-day coaching program where you will have weekly coaching calls live with me to help you implement your plans and take action now. In this group coaching program, you will also get one private session with me where we can completely deep dive into what it is you're trying to create, and I can help you create the action tasks that you're going to need to complete in 30 days to get ahead. If you're ready to jumpstart your goals and get going right now, then you are the perfect person for this pod coaching program. So if you're interested, hit the Get Access button below. And of course, I look forward to seeing you in the Mercury Pod Coaching Program. All my love. Mwah.